going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave. My internet's alive and well, so I was able to go ahead and put this show together. Let me tell you, I've done a lot of shows here. It's been a great ride. I've had so much fun. But today is the show I am most excited about that I have done yet, because I didn't think it would be. This top 5 list that I'm doing today brought so many memories, so many emotions, so many awesome things to the surface. And I didn't think it would. A few weeks ago, probably even as long as a month, maybe 2 ago, Dave Rose wanted me to do the top 5 greatest Canadian wrestlers in history. And I meant to do it. It just did not happen. I had no excuse. I'm a loser. But it was always in the back of my mind. It had to happen. It was going to happen. And now it is happening. I've been working on it all morning. Probably going to be the most controversial list I've ever done. But it's easily the biggest star list in history. Even the honorable mentions. The people on this list are not just Canadian greats. They're all-time greats. Canada's given so much to this industry. I mean, they really have. After researching and looking into stuff, a lot of stuff I knew, some things I didn't. I have a new appreciation for Canadian wrestlers. I always have appreciated Canadian wrestlers, but God, man, not like I do now. It really is quite incredible to think about all the awesome stuff, the awesome wrestlers, the talent that we have gotten from Canada, So Dave Rose, my friend, this is for you. So I know a lot of people thought I was not going to be doing a show for the next couple of days because of the internet. However, that is not the case. Germany has been kind. I live in a crap little town, so sometimes things like this happen. It's nobody's fault. It's just how it is. So, we thought we were going to be without internet for 4 days. Luckily, that was not the case. And we got it set up. We got everything going. So that's pretty cool. This is exciting. I'm excited about it to be back and get this thing going. I totally had a brain fart there. I don't know if you saw me blank out, but I did. I want to give a quick shout out to everybody who gave ideas for today's top 5. Stewie B, top 5 finishers. I've actually done that one. It was the first top 5 that I did. I did video. One of the last times I actually put videos in there. It should still be in there. Back. Oh, God. I'm going to really butcher this name. Not Nice Durant. Okay, I was trying to read it like it was a name. Not Nice Durant. Top 5 mic bombs. I like that. Pipe bombs, mic promos. I'm going to do that one. I like that. Alex Williams, top 5 divas. That's a good one. I think I've done that. I may have done that. I'm not sure. Justine Estrella, top 5 WrestleManias. That's a great one because, and it is going to happen. Coming up very soon here, because we're getting very close to WrestleMania, even though I'm not excited about it. And honestly, this entire build is boring the ever-loving shit out of me. I'm going to be doing a lot of WrestleMania-related content here soon. So strap in, guys, because a lot of content's coming. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, quick update on the Fantasy Baseball League. I have moved it. It was supposed to be today. I didn't think I was going to get on the internet, so I moved it. But I'm keeping it moved till next Saturday, the 21st. Yes, I understand that, it's a week away. But I want to really give it a chance to get 12 people into the league. I believe the 9th is going to be joining today. If you want to get involved in the Dead on Dave Productions Fantasy Football League, Fantasy Baseball League, go ahead and we will be doing a Fantasy Football League right here on Dead on Dave Productions, but right now it's baseball. And you can go ahead and contact me on email, deadondaveproductions@yahoo.com, on Twitter @deadondavev, right over at Facebook, facebook.com/thisguystakeonit, right here in the comment section below, and I will send you a link to invite you into the league. So, too easy. It's too easy. We can do it so many different ways. So you just let me know, and I will get you in. And then you can play, and if you win, if a non-team member wins, like a viewer wins, I will send you a free copious shirt. How does that sound? I think that's a pretty good deal. Speaking of giveaways, we are getting really, really close, and I promise this is the last announcement before we get to the top 5. We are getting very close to 500 subscribers. Very, very close. At 485, I believe we're at. When we get to that 500 subscribers, remember what happens. The big giveaway, I do the unboxings right here on this channel with my daughter, Alicia. When we get there, we've been putting items away into a box, 500 subscriber box. And once we get to that mountaintop of 500 subs, I will be giving this box away. I'll be sending it to whoever it is. And remember, I live in Germany, so that's quite, it's going to cost me some money. So this is my way of expressing gratitude to all the support that you guys give me, because without you guys, I'm just a fat guy talking. And arguably, I'm just a fat guy talking anyway, but I got a lot of people who enjoy listening and enjoy participating, and that's what this show's about. So I can't wait to do this giveaway. We're almost there. I was hoping to be there already, but, you know, hey, I suck. Who knew? So you guys go ahead, and if you haven't subbed, make sure you sub. And if you know people who would like to watch sports and wrestling, a guy talk about all kinds of different stuff, send it to them. Tell them to fucking sub. So we're getting close. All right. I'm excited. Here we go. Here we go. Top 5 greatest wrestlers of all time. And of course, like always, we will start with the honorable mentions. We're going to do honorable mentions a little bit different. We're going to start with like greatest of this type of deal. And I'm going to start with a guy, a technicality. Technically, this man is Canadian. Technically, his dad was Canadian. He had Canadian citizenship. And that means he has the right to Canadian citizenship. And I believe he actually does have dual citizenship. So he counts in a way. Technically, The Rock should be and could be on this list. If I wanted to really make people's heads explode, I would just do it. I would put him on a list, and I'd probably have to put him as number 1. But I'm not, because of a technicality, because of this weird dual citizenship, and really, The Rock has never claimed Canada. I'm going to go ahead and leave him off, but I will give him a mention because he is The Rock, and he does have Canadian citizenship. So let me know what you guys think about that. The most important singular person in Canadian wrestling history, this should not be a shock to anybody, is Stu Hart. Of course, it's not just about what Stu did as an in-ring performer. It's more about all the young men, the athletes that he trained, all the amazing superstars and just good workers that was churned out of the dungeon. I mean, it went beyond just his family. The Hart brothers, everybody that he trained that went on to train others. The list is endless. And the influence and just everything that he did to promote wrestling, you can't say enough about Stu Hart. You just can't. And it's without Stu Hart, who knows where we're at. Not just Canadian wrestling, but wrestling in general. So Stu Hart is so important. The next honorable mention, it's he's a good worker. He was a good worker, but more because he was so easily hated. He could make people hate him so easily. And he's also on the honorable mentions list because he has the most annoying and so bad it's good theme song of all time. And here we go.
Climb the mountain, I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. Climb the mountain, and I force along. You can try to run, but you can never hide. The mountain always gets his man.
Yes, the Mountie. The Mountie was so easy to hate. He was annoying. He was a jack-off. I mean, he had the stupid cattle prod. He had ridiculous promos on horseback and stuff. But he was so entertaining. And he was everything that was right and everything that was wrong about the era that he was in WWF. He really is. Just a great, great guy. Of course, he's part of the Rougeau family. I know I just butchered that name. I am sorry. I'm probably going to butcher a lot of names because Canadians have weird names, most of them. If it's not a Hart or something, I don't know what to do. If I would have had the name in front of me, I'm sure I would have done a much better job of pronouncing it. I apologize for that. But the Mountie has to be on there. Some other honorable mentions. And look, this honorable mentions list is so long. I'm not going to be able to highlight every single person because, God, there are just so many great Canadian wrestlers. And the more I went through them, the more I was like, oh, my God, it's incredible. P.D. Williams. If you haven't watched P.D. Williams wrestle, he's on this honorable mention because he has the greatest finisher, maybe greatest move, period, in history of wrestling, not just Canada. If you have not seen the Canadian Destroyer, pause this video, type into the old Google machine, P.D. Williams, Canadian Destroyer, and just prepare to have your jaw dropped. Absolutely amazing. I've shown it here on this channel before. I may have deleted that video, but I can't remember. So absolutely incredible. You got to see it. It's jaw-dropping. It's the greatest move I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. If you have something better, and there are some high-flying moves, like the Ark of God, the Phoenix Splash, the Ark of God, like I like to call it, is probably a little more jaw-dropping when it's hit right. But that Canadian Destroyer, or whatever you want to call it, just incredible. Incredible. And P.D. Williams, he's not just a one-move guy. P.D. Williams is an incredible worker. I believe he's retired. He may have came back, but that dude was an awesome dude. You want to see some good matches, great matches, go watch P.D. Williams and AJ Styles. My God. My God. Just incredible. You know, thinking about it, just think about those two guys. I think somewhere down the line I'm going to create a Team USA versus Team Canada, an all-time Team USA and Team Canada. As a matter of fact, if you want to go ahead and submit your members for Team USA and Team Canada for wrestling, put it in the comment section below, and I'll talk about it throughout the week because that idea just hit me, and I think it's a really, really cool concept. So let me know what you guys think of that and if it's something that you would like to explore. And then we'll go match by match, and we'll just kind of have fun with it. But P.D. Williams, he belongs. Dino Bravo. A lot of you kids don't know who Dino Bravo is. Go back and check him out. Rick DeMono Martel, great Canadian wrestler, fantastic wrestler, great gimmick. And for 5 points, what was the name of the perfume that he would spray sometimes in people's eyes? Go ahead and put it in the comment section below. First person that does so wins my admiration. Dino Bravo, fantastic. That's another guy you gotta put in there. Here's one that people are not going to expect me to name. And not just because most people don't know he's Canadian, but people are going to be like, what, him, really? Santino Marella. Santino Marella belongs on this list. Yes, he's a joke. Yes, he is a joke. But he's been a long joke. He's been around for a long time. He's done a lot of different things. He's been what they like to call a elevation talent. It's not the right word. He's there to elevate others. I mean, I wish the word's right here. It's the tip of the tongue. It will not come out. But enhancement talent. He's an enhancement talent. That's what he does. And he's really done a good job of keeping the PG audience and keeping the kids happy and stuff. He's had some good gimmicks and great pops, good moments. He's worked with some of the top guys in the business, including Steve Austin. People forget he had a short feud. Never wrestled with him, but I mean, you know, he got beat up by him when he was with Maria Santino, of course. So Santino, he belongs on the honorable mentions. Some current guys that have had unbelievable careers that are just getting started in WWE. Kevin Steen, better known now as Kevin Owens, and El Generico, Sami Zayn. I put them together because if you want to just have entertainment that you haven't had in a really long time wrestling, just YouTube Kevin Steen, El Generico, and get ready. Watch this feud. Holy God. These are Canadians. These guys is what they do, and it's incredible. Test is another one. Underrated, maybe one of the most underrated guys ever. Does not get talked enough nearly about. Another guy who died way too young. Just incredible. He moved well. He just, for some reason, he couldn't get over. And this is kind of a bane of a lot of Canadian wrestlers. Because as good as they are, sometimes they're always lacking in the personality department. Or some of them just have such grating personalities like the Mountie that he can never be taken seriously. Test fell somewhere in between. When he would get pushed bigger, it seemed like he didn't have the charisma or the stage presence to really captivate an audience, and he would just kind of come off as annoying. When he wasn't pushed enough, it always seemed like, wow, he really showed why that charisma is there. But it was just weird. He's one of those guys. Here's another one that you wouldn't expect to be on a list because most people didn't know he was Canadian. Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear, former WWF champion, the man who ended Bruno Sammartino's 7.5 years as champion. He was a major, major star, huge draw, and major heel in the early 70s, all the way through the late 80s, all over North America. I mean, you cannot talk about wrestling, the history of the WWF Championship, without Ivan Koloff. The Russian Bear is incredible, and Canadian. Christian, probably the first name that I'm going to mention on the honorable mentions list that people are going to be like, oh, you have to get him in the top 5. Well, it's really hard. It's really hard. People don't realize just how good this top 5 list is. It's an all-time list. It's not just greatest Canadians. I have a lot of admiration for these guys. If I'm talking like in a lot of superlatives, it's just because I got so much respect for Canadian culture when it comes to wrestling and hockey, and really just Canadian culture in general, because it really is a unique and interesting country when you really look into it. And I spent a long time hating Canada, by the way. I had a lot of resentment. I had a bad experience in Vancouver, and most people say, yeah, well, you went to Vancouver, it's your own fault, I guess. I guess Vancouver is like the Canadian New Jersey. I have no idea. But I had a bad experience when I was a kid, and I just kind of held it, always resentful. So it is what it is there. But now as an adult, I just have so much respect. Christian, he is an honorable mention. He's not a top 5 guy. He might not even be a top 10 guy when you really look at it, because without Edge, there would be no Christian. You can't say that the other way. You can't say, well, if Christian never came along, maybe Edge wouldn't be as big as he is. I don't buy that. I think Edge was destined to be a major star anyway. And the fact that Christian really, I don't feel, ever got his footing as a solo star without the help of somebody else. Because remember, the first time Christian became relevant after he left Edge was when he was paired with Chris Jericho, another Canadian. So it just, I don't know, he's just one of those guys. Christian might go down as just the greatest enhancement star, because he enhanced everybody around him. But he needed somebody else of bigger caliber to enhance him. And that's not going to sit well with a lot of people, but I got a feeling this list might not sit well with a lot of people. The next guy on the honorable mentions list is probably the most polarizing name, and I could make a case, if this was just pure wrestling ability, I can make a case that he's the greatest Canadian wrestler of all time, if it's just wrestling ability. But I can't, because there's more to the story, so I won't. But I have to mention him on the honorable mentions because I actually knew the guy a little bit. Not well, but I knew him a little. Chris Benoit, which is still, it hurts to say his name sometimes. It really does. But the Canadian Crippler, God, man, if he wouldn't have lost his mind or whatever, or maybe he was just a killer, we'll never know. But if he wouldn't have done the things he did, can you imagine the wrestling school that he'd probably have open right now and the type of wrestlers that would be coming out of that school? My God, it makes me insane to think about the talent that he could be teaching. Chris Benoit, one of the greatest of all time. And if it was a different type of list, I could probably make a stronger case that he should be in the top 3. But because of what this list is, and you have to take so many things in consideration for this list, he's going to be an honorable mention. And not a popular one. A lot of people are going to talk about all of the bad stuff, but I'm trying to get past it. Of course, I'm not discarding it. I'm simply putting it into a different box because that's where it belongs, in the context of this conversation. And that's what it is. Here's another guy. All right. 0 personality. 0. None. Never had any. Never will have any. But such an important name. And I really could have. I had him as number 5 until I made a realization that I didn't know. I did not know one thing until today. I was surprised I didn't know it, but I didn't. I had no clue. No clue. And when I realized this, I had to bump Lance Storm. So yeah, Lance Storm. 0, 0, 0, 0 charisma. But man, that guy could wrestle. ECW, You know, 3-time tag team champion. In WCW, he was a 3-time U.S. champ, 1-time cruiserweight champ, and 1-time hardcore champion. He actually held, the most important thing about those titles, he actually held them all at the same time. At one point, same time. He when he got the WWE, he kept winning. You know, Intercontinental champion and a 4-time WWE tag team champion. I mean, that's a hell of a friggin' credentials list. And the guy just had good matches. If you just want one sentence about Lance Storm that just kind of sums him up, the guy just had good matches. It's just day in, day out, the guy just had good matches. I really wanted to put him on the top 5, but there's no room for him, and you'll see why when we get there. We're going to make a slight detour because I want to talk about Canadian women. I want to talk about Canadian women because it's very important to do so. You know, some people, when they think of Canadian women, they only think of one, and that's a crime. Yes, she might be the greatest. She is the greatest Canadian wrestler of all time, Canadian overall superstar of all time. But there are some other women that you have to talk about, and there's actually more than what I'm going to talk about. But these are 5 women, and then the greatest. So 6 women overall that I want to talk about in Canadian wrestling history. First, Gail Kim, who really you can make the argument's the greatest Canadian women's wrestler of all time, and really you can put her into a conversation for top 5 greatest women's wrestler period of all time. Gail Kim has been fantastic, so underutilized in her runs within WWE. It's unfortunate, but she's, from what I understand, and some of the things that she has said in social media and in interviews kind of back this up, she's a pain in the ass. And WWE just never did gel with her. She never got along with management. TNA, it doesn't really matter because the inmates run the asylum by all, and for all intents and purposes, by all accounts. So Gail Kim definitely belongs. Another TNA diva, Angelina Love. You know, multiple-time champion. I think she at least won 5 knockouts champions down there in TNA. She's beautiful. She's got a great attitude. Like, well, not great attitude, but you know what I mean. She has a great personality. And she could work. So Angelina Love. Natalya, maybe the best pure technician on this list, or at least she was. Lately, I felt like her ring work was dropping off, but I don't really care because her charisma, her personality, her change in the ring. Natalya is the women's wrestler to watch for the next 12 months because she's showing things that she has never shown before in her career. And maybe she's a late bloomer, but she seems to be getting it. And by the way, she's looking hotter than ever right now. So Natalya is on that list. Luna Vachon. Maybe one of the most over-the-top and greatest characters ever. The people that she's with, the things that she's done, her run with Goldust, Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow, Macho Man, everyone that she's been with so many people, and she's just insane and crazy and just awesome in so many ways. Maybe not. Wait, I think I was wrong. I believe she also had a short run with Shawn Michaels, and maybe never with Macho Man. I might have just mixed that up, but I believe she had a short marriage, not real marriage, of course, but you know, wrestling, not even a wrestling marriage. You know what I mean? She was with Shawn Michaels as a manager for a short period of time, I believe. Lunatic, whatever you want to call her. She was great. She was great. She was awesome. I'm going to say a name that you guys aren't going to know because nobody knows her by this name. Her name is Rhonda Singh. She died in 2001. And in WWE, she's the greatest joke in history. Didn't ever get a chance. But in WCW, she did. And she wrestled all over the world for a long time. She's better known as Bertha Faye. I know Ed Crowley's all-time favorite. Bertha Faye, she could wrestle. I mean, Rhonda Singh could wrestle, plain and simple. And you got to watch some of her WCW work because it was really impressive. But yeah, her WWE stuff was a joke. She was a joke. Bertha Faye was a joke. Harvey Wimpleman and their love affair. It was a joke. It's unfortunate because it doesn't do her proper justice, but she was a hell of a talent. She deserves to be recognized. However, all those women cannot make one claim, and that's the greatest woman Canadian wrestler of all time. Only one can, and that is the 7-time women's WWE champion Trish Stratus, who broke the mold for models becoming wrestlers. She was a model. She was a fitness model, a fitness guru, and she became a wrestling personality. She was a manager, and then she started working and worked her ass off. You want to talk about someone who just put her mind to something and continued to just dig and become good, because she sucked in the ring for a while, but she kept working. She kept working. That's athleticism and ability and drive. Trish Stratus deserves so many props, and she was almost someone on this list too. I almost just put her on the list, top 5 as well, because I believe she deserves it. However, once again, the list is so stacked that I decided to make her own category, and that's why she is right out. She's on the list, but she's outside of the list. She's the greatest women's wrestler to ever come out of Canada, period. There's hardly an argument about it. I mean, some people might go with Gail Kim, but I don't think it's even a close argument. Trish Stratus is absolutely amazing, and everybody wanted to bone this woman. Everybody. Lottie-dottie, everybody. You know, and that's okay. She was great. She was great. I loved her. She's a great manager. Great manager, great character, and phenomenal wrestler. So, okay. All of that being said, it's time to get to the big boy list. God, this is so hard. This is so hard. Number 5. A guy I didn't even know was Canadian until today, and I'm almost embarrassed. I just didn't know. I didn't know. And I know some of you will know, but I think a lot of you won't. Number 5. Let me get my graphics up. Number 5 is this man. Roddy Piper. The Hot Rod. He is number 5 on this list for so many reasons. I mean, and titles are not one of them. They're just not. He's not on this list because of titles. And that's okay. That's okay. He doesn't need titles. He's not a guy who needed a lot of accolades. He's because of attitude and work. Did a guy ever do more with a microphone than Roddy Piper? He made people hate him and love him and have to see him just by his words. And he continues to do so. Yeah, he can't really wrestle anymore because of his age and all of the surgeries and diseases that he's had. So, of course, he's old as shit. But just hearing him talk, it's incredible. The guy is captivating. He can just talk on a stage. And he's nuts, too. That's another great thing about him. He's absolutely crazy, but he's so much fun. He's probably the one guy on this list who's not there because of his accolades, because of all the bling-bling on his mantle. Because he didn't have it. He didn't need it. I don't even think he wanted it. The guy's a star. Plain and simple. He's a friggin' star. And he's number 5 all-time greatest Canadian wrestler of all time. I know I said all time twice, but I don't care. And I want people to be honest. How many? I want to know if you really knew. Go ahead and put it in the comment section below. Just be honest. Be honest. I'm being honest. If you knew that Roddy Piper was Canadian, I want to know how stupid I am. So put in the comment section below if you knew that the Hot Rod was Canadian. I bet if you're honest, I bet there's going to be a lot of people who just didn't know. I know Dave Rose knew. I have a sneaking suspicion that Dave Rose knew because he's doesn't get too much sharper when it comes to Canadian wrestling than that man. I really should have had him on for this, and I'd like to actually have a discussion with him one day. But I haven't had him on in a while. I got to get him on here because he's great. He's great. Hopefully I'll get him on a live show. Hopefully soon. Number 4. I'm going to start with this because I talked about earlier the most annoying song and so bad it was good. Now I'm just going to talk about the greatest theme song in history. And not just Canadian history. Yeah, there's a couple Canadians who have great themes, but this is my favorite.
You think you know me?
On this day, I see clear.
That's right. That's right. It's the Rated R Superstar. Oops, need to put his name up there. Edge. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. Edge. Not only is Metalingus just my favorite theme song of all time, I just love it, but he had a 14-year career that is so damn impressive. Now, people would knock him for his injuries, and his injuries are probably, obviously why he's not wrestling today, but it's also because it's probably hindering from him being higher on the list. He could probably move up a spot, maybe even 2, if his career went longer. 14 years. There are a lot of performers that went longer, but his championship tally is ridiculous. He might have more than anybody. I mean, besides one other man, Let's go through it. He is a 4-time WWE champion, 7-time World Heavyweight champion, 14-time Tag Team champion, 5-time Intercontinental champion. He's a U.S. champion, King of the Ring winner in 2001, and Royal Rumble winner in 2010. One of the most exciting Royal Rumbles I've ever, because nobody saw it coming. Also, 2012 Hall of Fame. That's decoration. But Adam Copeland brought so much more than just those numbers. I mean, the guy did so much in the ring. He enhanced people. He made stars by his presence. I mean, him and John Cena, they were going to be stars, but who knows if they would ever have gotten as big as they were without each other. Their feud is one of the top 10, top 11, maybe top 9, top 8 feuds of all time. It's a fantastic feud. Long, brutal, personal. It's really a great feud. A lot of fun. They took it to places that a lot of people just don't go. But Edge had a lot of great feuds. And starting there with the Brood. I love that, the Brood. Look at Gangrel. Whatever happened to him? Probably, I got to talk about lost superstars. Gangrel. It could have been. That's going to be a top 5. Top 5 could have been great superstars. And Gangrel would be on that list. I liked him. But Edge was amazing, man. And his torrid love affair with Lita, of course, is one of those things that were just really cool to see on screen, and knowing the reality that happened. It just, you can't say enough about Edge. And God, I wish he was still wrestling, man. People hate on that man's spear, but I liked it. I liked the way because he added a nuance to spears. Everybody else just drove 3 people. He would drive people down. He would jerk his shoulders down and just show the technical ability that he had, and just slam them. It was like a spear, but almost like a slam too. And it could look really good at times. I enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't. I did. I'm a big fan of the Edge spear. Like the spear, for most people, it gets used far too much, but I really did enjoy it. I did. Number 3, and this man will argue that he, in fact, has the greatest theme song of all time, and maybe he does, and he's one of my favorites. Someone else that I knew a little bit back in the day, Y2J, Chris Jericho, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, baby. And somebody that, if you trust him, would never, ever do it again. I mean, what can you say about Chris Jericho? My God. He's still going. I'm sure he'll be back again at some point. This dude has held so many titles. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous, his titles. He's a 3-time World Heavyweight Champion. WCW World Title 2 times. World Tag Team Championship 5 times. WWE Champion. Tag Champion 2 times. WWE Intercontinental Championship record 9 times. European Champion. Hardcore Champion. And of course, undisputed WWF Champion, when in 2001 he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in the same night. Maybe the most impressive one-night feat in the history of wrestling. I mean, when you beat maybe the 2 greatest stars ever, it's that come on, it doesn't get much better than that. It really doesn't. That's the equivalent of somebody beating Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat in the same night in the 80s, It's quite crazy. Or as far as star power, beating Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, or Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, or Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, or, it's just like it's incredible. He beat the two biggest names that he could have beaten in his time, and he beat them in the same night to become the first ever undisputed WWF champion. It's awesome. I feel like I'm missing his WWE title runs. I know that I may have missed it, but he's definitely held the WWE championship, but I might have just completely blopped it. I don't know. That, of course, I look, people will talk shit about Chris Jericho, but what he's able to do with the mic as well, with what he's able to do in the ring, you can't not talk about the guy. And the fact that he constantly updates his look, he updates his feel, his ring work is always perfect. It's always wonderful. He's always had the ability to work with anybody, do anything. He's the Canadian Shawn Michaels in a lot of ways, and that's a very high compliment. I love Chris Jericho. Cannot make no bones about it. Love him, and I love to see him all the time. Give me more Y2J. One of the most memorable debuts in WWF history. Welcome to Raw is Jericho. He went toe-to-toe with The Rock on the mic. He got killed, but still. It's just a great moment. Great moment. I love Chris Jericho. Love him. Always will. Number 3 all-time Canadian wrestler in the history of the business. All right. Here we go. Number 2. This is the one where people are going to start losing their fucking minds over, I'm sure. It's Bret Hart. Bret Hart, I'm going to give you the numbers first. 5-time WWE champion. 2-time WCW champion. 2-time Intercontinental champion. 2-time WWE Tag Team champion. 1-time United States champion. It was a joke reign, but still, he got it. 4-time WCW United States champion. 1-time WCW Tag Team champion and 1993 King of the Ring winner. The tournament was developed just for him, as a matter of fact, because he was screwed out of the Rumble. And screwed out of the WWE title and stuff. They created the King of the Ring for him, basically. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry. He was screwed out of the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So they created the King of the Ring for him. Elevate him a little bit. Look, I understand a lot of people are not going to agree with him being number 2. I get it. But here's the reality. Everything that Bret Hart did was incredible. There's no question about that. The moves he did, everything was perfect. He truly was the excellence of execution. There's no question about that. However, he was also very predictable, very boring, and except for a couple of times in his career, his charisma never came through. He had to become the antithesis of who he was. He had to basically betray everything that he felt deep in his body about the industry to show a personality. It wasn't his personality, a personality. And a lot of people will say the heel Bret Hart is more accurate to who Bret Hart truly is. I don't know if that's true. I know he's become bitter with age. I know even though he is made up with everybody that he had beef with in the 90s, I know he still runs off at the mouth sometimes. I know he still is, quite bitter about a lot of things. And you know what? He has every right to be. He's gotten screwed, but he also didn't help a lot of situations himself. This picture is synonymous with Bret Hart because him and that Winged Eagle championship is synonymous, man. I mean, it just looks so good on him. It really did. I love Bret Hart. And people don't think I do, but I do. I love Bret Hart. It just so happens I also believe he's the most overrated wrestler in the history of the game. Now, I'm saying that and putting him number 2 on this list. These things are not mutually exclusive. Just because you're overrated doesn't mean that you're not great. He's great. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's a top 5, top 10 guy. There's no question about that. And he's number 2 on this list. You know, I love the stuff that he's done, but it's more about the things he didn't do and more about the things that the man who is number 1 did do. So let's go ahead and let's get to it. I hope people's heads don't explode. But the greatest Canadian wrestler of all time is Owen Hart, his brother. Now, I know this is going to confuse people, but let me get through this. Let's do the numbers first. And there's not a lot of numbers, but impressive nonetheless. 2-time Intercontinental title, 1 European title, 4 Tag Team Championship reigns with 3 different partners, and a 1994 King of the Ring title. The winner. Owen Hart, we knew was going to be special. He got a WrestleMania moment that lives forever. WrestleMania 10, 20 years old now. It's the greatest opening match in history of wrestling pay-per-views. It will never be topped because it's also one of the greatest matches of all time. Bret Hart, Owen Hart. It's fantastic. He pushed Bret in ways that nobody else ever did. Because Bret could always be Bret when he was against Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels. And you were always going to get the same match. But for some reason, when he fought Owen, Owen was able to bring things out in him that were just never there with anybody else. And you look back at their rivalry and you'll see that that's true. He made Bret the wrestler everyone thought that Bret Hart is. The greatest of Bret Hart is only when Owen's around. And I know that people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Bret was great with Stone Cold and Shawn. And yes, you're right. He was. There's no question about that. Some of the greatest matches in history involve Bret Hart. But they also involve some of the greatest wrestlers in the history of wrestling. Yes, Bret Hart's name is in there, but it's always with Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker. It's always other phenomenal names as well. Owen Hart didn't always have the luxury of being in there with the best. And who knows if Owen Hart would have gotten that main level push. I think he would have. I think he was in a terrible gimmick when he died. And it was because of the gimmick he did die, because he had to let go of his stupid harness and fall clumsily to the ring. And it was an unnecessary gimmick and stupid, and it didn't even work that well anyway. And it was dumb to even be a part of it, and it cost him his fucking life, and it's tragic, and it's upsetting, and it's angry, and damn it. But Owen, the reason why Owen is the greatest Canadian wrestler of all time is simple for me. Because he had the exact same ability as Bret to make everyone he was in the ring better. But the difference is Owen could make anyone look better, even when he didn't need to. His personality and lack of ego sets him apart and above Bret. That's enough for me. That's enough for me without even having to go into the fact that his moveset and his ability was more diverse, more athletic. His personality shone through way more because he didn't have the same ego limitations that Bret did and still does. He didn't care about that. He could do everything Bret Hart could do, plus the things Bret wouldn't. And he never, not one day in his life, did Owen Hart put himself in front of the business. Not one day. Not one day did he put himself in front of the business. It's all of these reasons, and many, many more, why he's the greatest Canadian wrestler of all time. I can't make it more simple than that. He separates himself from Bret Hart because of his willingness to get past himself. And you could talk about that even without the fact that, like I mentioned, his moveset, his athletic ability, he was a better athlete than Bret. There's no question about that. But his willingness to do whatever for the industry. He could have left with Bret. He didn't. He didn't. And that tells me a lot about Bret's situation. Yeah, people talk about contract stuff, whatever. Owen could have got out of that. I mean, everybody else in the Hart family did. They all jumped to WCW, but Owen didn't. Why? Because he didn't believe the same things that Bret did. I mean, it's obvious. He didn't believe the same things that Bret did. Bret was bigger than wrestling. He had the Hulk Hogan syndrome. He was bigger than it. Owen wasn't. Owen wasn't above anything. Anything. That's what makes him so great. So, Owen Hart is the greatest Canadian wrestler ever. And we thank Canada for that contribution. And all the contributions to wrestling. I can't say enough about Canadians and their wrestling prowess. I mean, it's like you can't talk about hockey without talking about Canada. And you can't talk about wrestling without talking about Canada as well. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this list. I'm sure it'll be controversial, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to send me fucking flaming bags of poo over the internet telling me how stupid I am because I didn't put Bret Hart as number one. Well, fuck you to anybody. You know, how about that? That's all I got. Just go ahead and write in the comment section below. Give me your rebuttal. Tell me who you think are the greatest 5 Canadian wrestlers of all time. Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? Let me know. I want to hear from you guys, and I will talk about some of the best things that people have to say tomorrow on viewer questions. If you have a viewer question that you want shown on tomorrow or answered tomorrow, go ahead and hit me up, and I will answer it tomorrow right here on Dead on Dave Productions Sunday show, Daily Focus viewer questions. Sound good? Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the support. Get me to that 500 sub plateau, people, and you will get a gift. One lucky sub. Giveaway box. It's coming. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys later on. Peace with chicken grease. Never in the Middle East. Palestinians hate the Jews. Jews hate the Palestinians. Don't go naked unless you're solo in a shower. We are out of here. See you next time. Peace.